I'm Stephanie Barlow. I'm your watermelon expert for the day. I'm from the National Watermelon Promotion Board, or simply Watermelon Board. And we are going to learn how to butcher a watermelon, how to make a couple watermelon recipes, and some watermelon fun facts along the way. So, in front of me I've got my whole watermelon. The number one thing you need to know first is how do you select the watermelon at the grocery store. Some people like to do the thump. If your grandmother taught you how to thump, go ahead. We prefer the look, lift, turn. So you want to look at it, make sure there's no big gashes, lift it. It should be very heavy for its size because it's 92% water, and turn it. You want this buttery yellow ground spot where the watermelon sat on the ground and ripened in the sun. So this one looks good, it feels heavy. We're going to get right into it. Number one, you need a good knife. Just a big knife with a pointy tip. And don't try to slice in like it's bread. You go straight in, down the middle. I like to go nose to tail, and I turn it around.
Why do you like doing it that way? I feel like it's different from how most people might do it the other way.
Honestly, I think someone just taught me to do it that way. So we have a pretty good looking watermelon, nice and red. It gets the red from the lycopene. That's an antioxidant that gives the watermelon its red color. I'm going to set one half aside. And this is the easiest tip, but it should go face down so that you're not having any wobble. Also, just so you know, this watermelon has been washed. I forgot to mention that. As of my hands and cutting surfaces, I'm cutting watermelon for my family at home. This is not a food service event. So everything's been washed, including my hands. So now, you can go this way, right down the middle, or nose to tail like I do. I was just taught that way when I started at watermelon. And I'm going to do it half again. And you put the tip in first. That's really it. And you got nice 2/4, even Stevens. And then this part is it's very easy just to do a simple wedge. You take the edge of your knife and you go outward. So just push, boom, boom. How big are the slices you want to make equals how many people you're feeding, how old they are. If I was cutting for adults, I mean, certainly this is a great size for my picnic. But if I'm doing a kid's party, I would take that and just yoink that right in half. And it's a perfect watermelon wedge with a rind to hold on to, so it's not as messy as just the chunks. So this is our easy wedges.
So you serve these for eating with like your hands and stuff.
Yeah, you could even stick a popsicle stick just right in the end and freeze them, and they're frozen popsicles, and they're just as pure as you could get.
Really fun.
From this wedge shape, you can also make these great, we call them dippers or sticks. This is also fun for grown-ups and kids. You can dip into yogurts or hummus. It makes it a little easier to go as an on-the-go type of a recipe or cut. Our goal is to learn how to use the whole watermelon, so flesh, juice, and rind. So this is all the flesh. Of course, we could scrape in the rest and make it in the blender into juice. And if we wanted to do rind, we're just going to cut off that part, the meat, and then just slice off the green skin. And you're probably saying, well, what will I do with watermelon rind?
Yeah.
So I would make watermelon rind pickles or watermelon rind slaw. You could even stir fry it. Oh. And you can do all sorts of things. We even have these candied watermelon rinds that was from my friend Rita's grandma's recipe, so we'll have those soon.
Cool.
So using the whole watermelon and getting into the butcher, we've got rind, juice, well, we're not going to do juice today because we don't have a blender, sticks, and certainly, if we had a baller, we could do watermelon balls. So I'm going to move this aside, and we're going to move on to watermelon pizza. And as I'm making room, we'll talk a little bit about some of the health benefits. So watermelon, you probably guessed, you cannot spell watermelon without water. It is 92% water, like we said, one of the best hydration sources you can get in any fruits or vegetables. During the summer, during any time of year, you've got the lycopene, which is good for protecting yourself against the sun damage. It's actually inside and outside. If you consume lycopene, it protects you from inside. If you rub it on your skin, it can protect you from the outside if you get a little sticky. Also, in the white part of the rind, there's a majority of citrulline, which is an antioxidant. Vice versa. An amino acid. Citrulline is great for heart health, blood flow, blood pressure. There's lots of studies being done on citrulline in watermelon. So, as we move along, we will do, oh, you know, I cut it for the wheels the long way. So I had some pre-cut wheels, but you could see how.
Yeah, let's see how it would look on.
This is going to be interesting. So we'll try to cut a wheel shape. Oops.
Ooh,
Yeesh.
don't hurt yourself.
The watermelon expert makes mistakes too. So you can see where the wobbliness is. So you have your, what would essentially be a round watermelon wheel. Not the prettiest example of what's happening right here. You can tell I'm not the food stylist. I'm sorry.
No, it looks good.
Okay, so of the lots of ways we can make watermelon recipes, we're gonna do a watermelon pizza on this Facebook Live. So you can see I had a wheel here that somebody else cut for me earlier. And with watermelon, you've got great pairings. So sweet and savory both go great. So we're gonna start with sweet and do a watermelon breakfast pizza. So as part of any pizza, this will be the crust. We're gonna put some vanilla yogurt.
It's cool you can do it in the squeeze bottle like that.
Yeah, squeeze bottles definitely make life easier. If you had to just spoon it on there though, it's quite easy, just a simple spread too, a spoon and spread. And then we've got toppings like, again for breakfast, we're gonna do a nice little granola spread. Berries, you could do any kind of berries, but we have some blueberries here. I also love sliced strawberries, raspberries, even kiwi or banana are great breakfast pizza toppings. A little bit of shredded coconut, just for some more, it's a texture party. And of course, these candied watermelon rinds are just a little bit of fun.
What do those have on them?
Chadwick, what do you candy rinds in?
So,
It'd be similar to like how you candied orange peels.
yeah, you actually do it like pickles first.
Yeah?
And then you dry it out in low heat in the oven.
Oh,
And so it creates a really small pieces like what you're seeing there. And then when it's cooled down, you roll it in sugar, and that's where you'll see the granular sugar pieces right on that. And you can use it as a topping. You can actually use it without the sugar on it, and for toppings for yogurt in the morning. It's
Oh.
cool stuff.
great. Thank you, chef and author Chadwick Boyd, best friend for the day. For a little topping, and this is of course, everything's optional. It's great to customize these pizzas. This is a little chocolate drizzle, because who doesn't love some sweetness? And then the real fun comes when you cut it into your pizza quarters. And you see the pizza shape really take part. So obviously this would be again for my family, maybe I'm making brunch, but a fun way to get your breakfast textures and nutrients in the morning with that base of watermelon as your pizza. Similarly, in the afternoons, we can do a savory breakfast pizza, also with a nicer made rind than I did. And instead of vanilla yogurt, I'm going to use some goat cheese, which is nice salty and with the sweet. Watermelon and feta is a very classic flavor combination dating back to Greece, centuries ago in fact. And we're seeing it in more restaurants, which also means we're seeing more people making it at home. So this is a very nice way to get some watermelon in. As you can see, it doesn't spread as pretty as yogurt does, but that's okay because it's going to get mostly hidden. So my goat cheese base, my watermelon underneath.
Why does watermelon go so well with the cheese flavor?
You know, salty and sweet, I'm not sure. And I've had so many great watermelon salads. This is arugula, so it's a different kind of a green. Oh, we forgot to put the mint on the pizza. Oh well, you can put mint or other herbs with your watermelon. And I think it's a texture thing maybe with cheeses too, because you get creaminess plus the sweet and juicy and the crunch of your watermelon. So in my goat cheese and my arugula, I'm going to do a drizzle of balsamic glaze. And you can see already this has that savory, more afternoon brunch lunch feel. Making your watermelon the salad plate instead of just a slice on its own, which is perfect. Flesh, juice, and rind, I mean, any way you can get watermelon is the most delicious. And it's healthy for you. It's got vitamins A, B6, and C. And it's great. It's available all year round thanks to all of our growers.
Can you put salt and pepper on that?
You sure could. Actually, the internet broke in watermelon land last week when someone did taco seasoning. And I love it. It was fantastic. We got a lot of great engagement. I'll stop about it. But people do like to salt their watermelon, especially where we are right now in the South. I brought some salt shakers for the Biscuit Festival Saturday, so people will have the options.
Can we show how you cut it into cubes? Do you want to
Oh
do that
yeah,
one? I
yes,
think
let's
that'd be cool
absolutely
to see.
do that. Hi. Can I just slice these things off of here? A little messy. Okay, you can't see that, right?
You're good. Don't worry.
Make a little space. Watermelon does freeze, by the way. It doesn't unfreeze very well. So as far as other fruits where you can try to defrost to use into recipes, it doesn't work as well that nicely.
Stephanie, can you talk to us about seedless watermelons and other
Sure.
varieties that we can find in the grocery store?
Right, well, so there are actually 1,200 varieties of seeds, but you'll only see seedless, seeded, mini, and fresh cut. And of course, maybe yellow and orange flesh
In the produce department?
in the grocery stores, yeah. Farmers markets, you might find something else. Oh, see, this would have been nicer to make the wheel from.
Yeah, it looks beautiful.
So what we do we're doing cubes, right?
Yeah, let's do the cubes.
All right, so I'll go, wait. See what happens when you don't go face down.
Very good point.
It gets wobbly.
Safety first.
Safety first. All right, so we'll take this over. And again, this is it's a bit handsy, but I've washed my hands. I'm just making this for home for my family. So you've got your quarter up, and you're gonna go, I don't know, centimeter, quarter of an inch, half of an inch side sliced down along the curve if you can with the tip of your knife, but not cutting all the way down, just to the bottom of the boat. And then you put your hand and you're gonna, same type of bounces down. I've never said bottom of the boat before, but it kind of makes sense. Turn it around and do the same, even cuts.
And protect our hands.
And you're holding it still.
Yeah.
And then you have these perfect watermelon cubes. They come out already nice cubed, easy peasy in the rind.
That is so cool.
It's a nice easy trick, and you can just cut those in half if you need a smaller dice, depending on what your recipe is. For salsas, it's a bit big for salsa, but it's easy to chop and dice from there. And then you scoop out whatever you have remaining and throw that in the blender for your juice. And I like to strain my juice because it can separate. It's quite pulpy. But if I got a high-powered blender for Mother's Day, so I don't have to strain anymore. But I do suggest it because it has that nice thin consistency. And when you have your juice in the fridge, I mean, there's shortcuts to getting juice now. You can find a couple of great bottled juices in the grocery store. But it does separate. Natural watermelon juice will separate, so just remember to shake it up. Shake it, shake it, shake it.
Awesome.
So this has been some great recipes, some watermelon butchery. I'm Stephanie Barlow with the Watermelon Board, and you can find more at watermelon.org.